Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review for Halloween month, and also back to reviewing the Scream franchise. Like I said, I finally got a chance to cover the sequels after long ago I viewed only the first film, and that was it. So I'm finally getting a chance to cover the rest of the movies now. But yep, but after watching Scream 2, to me it was like a step down, lackluster sequel, especially with some of the stupid things, especially stupid to kill off Jamie Kennedy off. That was a kick to the nuts, you know. The lame villains of Timothy Olyphant, which are really big on. Like I said, I did not mind him in the Crazies remake, but I'm overall big on him. The fact that it was the mother of Billy Loomis, who we saw only for like about a couple scenes, and she's the other killer. And I forgot to mention how it was a play on that. For the part of the score of the soundtrack of the movie, I forgot to mention Scream 2, that you hear to be a nod from Broken Arrow, you know, the main theme from Broken Arrow, you know, dun 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 dun. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, there was your that was like kind of an out of place thing to put in Scream 3 from Broken, that used that theme from Broken Arrow. Forgot to mention that though. But and Courteney Cox and David Arquette weren't given much to do, and it was just, it was an overall lackluster sequel, you know. But now getting to the third movie, which I think this one is the most underrated sequel of this franchise. I think I never understood the hate for Scream 3. I enjoy Scream 3. Other than the first one, which is the best one, this is the only good one I liked from the series. A lot better than Scream 2, which I don't get the praise for. I think it's a hell of a lot better than Scream 4, 5, and 6. To me, this is the most underrated one of the franchise, and the only other good one of the franchise. I never understood the hate for this film. This has the lowest rating of the series on IMDb and on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like a 5.6, I think, or so on IMDb. I don't get it. And this has a 41% of Rotten Tomatoes. So it's the lowest of both in this franchise. I never understood get the hate for this film. To me, this is the most underrated one of the series. And I like the cast more, and the newer additions of the cast than the ones in the previous one. And Courteney Cox and David Arquette, they given much better things to do. Especially David Arquette, he gets to shoot the killer. Okay, yes, finally, he gets to do something. Even Neve Campbell, she gets a little bit pushed backwards, like a little bit thrown in the background more on Dewey and Gale more, which I don't mind, because it gives Gale and Dewey more stuff to do, but Sydney gets pushed. Doesn't get pushed off that far to the side for not that long. And I think the reveal of the killer, I thought, was much better than the previous than Timothy Olyphant or Laurie Metcalf, which I'll get to the twist of that, because that was the stuff that was happening. I was putting two to two together. Okay, and more newer additions to the cast. I mean, you get Patrick Dempsey from Grey's Anatomy. He plays a detective in this. Scott Foley, most known for starring in the show Scandal. Lance Henriksen, always nice to see Lance Henriksen in a film. Jenny McCarthy is in this, as well as Parker Posey. Dion Richmond, who will later star in Hatchet, which a lot better than Hatchet. I'm not big on the film Hatchet. Has good gore, but that's about it. I don't like Hatchet at all, though. Patrick Warburton, known for starring other TV series, like he voices Buzz Lightyear from the TV series, as well as the animated movie, Family Guy as well. So he's been quite a lot of stuff too, Patrick Warburton. And you have Josh P.S. Who plays Patrick Dempsey's partner. Oh, cool! It's Raphael from the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie, which he did both the acting in the suit and the voice of Raphael. I'm like, cool. It's cool to see Raphael in this. That's a plus for me, because I love the 1990s Ninja Turtles film. I always enjoy the character of Raphael. Well, as well as the rest of the Turtles, well, except for other than Corey Feldman, who voiced Donatello, though. But Josh P.S. it's cool to see Raphael in this. That's a plus for me. And you get other cameos too. Carrie Fisher, may she rest in peace. You have cult director Roger Corman. He has a cameo in this, and you got Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith as Jay and Silent Bob. It was cool to see them in this because I always enjoy Clerks and Clerks 2. But Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back I enjoyed. It was cool to see them cameo in this. These cameos because the fact that we see these cameos because it's this. I like the fact that it takes place in Hollywood, different location other than Woodsboro. You can say the same in Scream 6 where it takes place in New York, but I prefer the location in Hollywood better. And I thought it felt more faster paced than the second film. At least Kevin Williamson, I guess of the writing, because Kevin Williamson didn't come back to do the writing in this film. It was Aaron Kruger. Now Aaron Kruger, he's mostly a miss for me as a writer because he wrote basically the Transformer films, which to me those are lame script writing. He's written all those stuff though, but here I think I give Aaron Kruger a better writing. I think it's one of his better writing on scripts in this more than his writing on the Transformer films. I knew he's written on other stuff though too, but I think his writing was better than this because I never understood the hate for this film. I never did. This film had a lot more stuff going for it. Marco Beltrami's score was much better than the sequel, than Scream 2. And some of the use of the soundtrack, like during the credits of this film, I thought it was I forget the name though, but it was kind of like a throwback to the song in the first movie. Now all that I say is consider is an underrated sequel, but there is a couple of nitpicks, of course, because no film is perfect, right? Which I'll get to though. But it opens up because Liev Schreiber he also comes back too. That he as Cotton. He has his own TV show called 100% Cotton, which I thought was kind of a funny joke. I got a chuckle out of. He has a girlfriend with him, and then eventually his girlfriend dies first, and then Ghostface kills him. But Liev Schreiber as Cotton, though, I know I mentioned it in Scream 2 he had a much more bigger appearance though, but at the same time I probably didn't mention that I overall didn't care for him as Cotton though. Yeah, I said he has much more larger role in Scream 2 though, but overall I wasn't care for him as a character either. So here I was fine with but even when he gets killed. But the thing is though, I like the idea that Ghostface's motivation in this, that he's asking where is Sydney. He's looking for Sydney. So I like the fact that he's basically on the verge of hunting Sydney down basically. And Sydney, Neve Campbell, she's living in isolation. She's living by herself in the middle of nowhere with her dog. She has security around her house, and she has this job as a crisis counselor. Which I like that idea too, given the circumstances of what she's been through. But eventually she gets a call from Ghostface. And so one thing leading to another, she ends up going to Hollywood and meets with Dewey and Gale, and Scott Foley as this director who was directing the next Stab film, and Lance Henriksen is there as a producer. Always nice to see Lance Henriksen. What's her name? Jenny McCarthy plays as an actress who's playing one of the actresses I forget in the next Stab film. Was like she gets a call and she's like, I'm 21 but I'm supposed to play naked, And one thing I have to say, a nitpick I have with it though, but the killer Ghostface, he has a voice changer, not the Ghostface voice though, but where he can a voice changer where he can just sound like any other person. Although it's a nice idea though, but I'm like, It's something you would see out of a spy film or something like that, right? Yeah, of course. These films are not supposed to be taken seriously, of course, though. But not cool idea though. But I'm like, is that really a real thing though? But still. But Ghostface goes after her, and I like the idea where she's hiding him on these costumes. I think it was like costumes. I think Ghostface costumes, right? And see, like, she looks further down and see when the costumes move, and then Ghostface pokes his head out like so. I like that idea. It was kind of a cool shot there. And ultimately, Jamie McCarthy, she gets killed, and she gets stabbed, and it gets thrown through a glass door. And so the killings, there's eventually Patrick Warburton, he gets killed, and then this guy this character by the name of Tom Prince, played by Matt Kiesler. I like the idea that I think it's one of my favorite kills of the series, because usually a lot of them they're stabbed or whatever, thrown off. Because Patrick Warburton, because not only that when he gets killed, he gets thrown off the balcony. A lot better than Sarah Michelle Gellar did in Scream 2. I thought that his death was much better than Sarah Michelle Gellar's death in Scream 2. By the way, the Tom Kiesler, they set the... Although I couldn't... It's kind of like a Saw jigsaw thing, how he can predict how this can happen, right? Like, he's psychic, right? Like, I can get that, how is Ghostface going to predict that this guy's going to light something, the whole house blows up. Because the gas is on and all that stuff, right? But I'm like, how can he predict how he was going to light that, though? But at the same time, I liked the whole deal. The whole house blows up with him in it. To me, that's one of the better kills of the series. One of the best ones, I would say. And a good practical explosion of the whole house blowing up. And then you get cameos like from Carrie Fisher, make sure you rest in peace. And then Jay and Silent Bob, cool to see them. Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. Even from director Roger Corman too. And I like the whole clues of with Sydney, with the clues leading up regarding her mother. Because another nitpick I have with it, because when she was at her house, she's having this nightmare about her mother. I think that was kind of a forced in. I mean, it's kind of like that. It was like very unnecessary nightmare sequence that I felt was forced in. It was kind of like it just kind of reminded me of that 10-second dream sequence with in Jurassic Park 3 with Dr. Grant's nightmare of that talking velociraptor. I mean, that was like even though it was like 10 seconds long though, but it was unnecessary to put in though. It was kind of like feeling the same way in this. We're having the nightmare sequence about her mother though. I think that was kind of forced in. But so that's another nitpick I have, but still, and I like the idea. Eventually, the whole finale takes place at I think it was the character Scott Foley. It was at his place, his mansion. Oh, I forgot to mention where with Sydney, where she gets chased at the set replica of her house. I like that idea where she's on the set, the production set replica of her house when she was being chased in the first movie. And she kind of gets it because there was construction that was not finished, but she almost bites it. But I like that where she was getting chased on the set replica of her house. But the whole finale, which takes place at this big mansion, I think it was Scott Foley's mansion, I think his home, and it kind of like has these secret passageways, and I thought it was kind of like it was a cool setting, secret passageways and stuff, like Parker Posey. Like earlier, there was this funny moment where she was kind of being like the Gale, imitating Gale, right? And Gale goes and punches her in the face, and I think she goes and kind of slaps back at that. I did like that. Or more in dialogue, where Patrick Dempsey's talking to Dewey, David Arquette, and is like, is that a threat? No, this is a threat. Oh, this is a threat, right? Or when Patrick Dempsey's talking to Neve Campbell and he's asking and she says to him, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And he goes and says, "My Life." And Neve Campbell says, "Yeah, me too." So I thought there was some better lines of dialogue. I thought was much better than in Scream 2. It's not like a silly stuff where like Jerry O'Connell's like dancing on tables screaming, right? Oh, not screaming, singing. And you also get another nitpick where we have they receive Jamie Kennedy's character Randy's sister, which I know that I forget the actress's name though, but you saw her in Hostel Part 2, which I did not like. But she was also in the Princess Diary. She was Anne Hathaway's best friend in Disney's The Princess Diary. She plays Randy's sister. She gives them Cindy and others this tape to watch. I guess Randy, before his death in Scream 2, he kind of like pre-recorded himself in case that he did die in Scream 2. So he recorded during that time, but indicating that he does die, he tells her to give him this tape. And he talks about horror film trilogies and stuff like that. I'm like, does this part even make any sense? I'm like, remember that there is a horror franchise that has a trilogy that I remember. Unless I'm drawing a blank, or I'm that dumbfounded though, but I don't remember there was a horror film trilogy. I'm trying to think though, but I'm sure somebody will let me know though. But the whole thing about that, it was kind of making any sense. I mean, although it is less ridiculous compared to all these new rules in Scream 4, 5, and 6. You know, like those new rules and those sequels, they don't make any sense at all. They're just shit rules. Especially when it coming up in Scream 4, but Scream 5 and 6, those rules, they're just completely utter shit rules. So the whole rule with what Jamie Kennedy explains that about the trilogy and stuff, like, it's less ridiculous rules than the new rules I hear in the later sequels. But anyway, it's cool to see Jamie Kennedy again though. But the whole thing, like, he made a pre-record just before his death in Scream 2. Like, he kind of, if he knew he was gonna die, so he had to make a tape in case that he did die. But the whole finale and the whole mansion was cool. Like I said, secret passageways with Parker Posey. She's like in this one secret passage where all these mirrors in. Like, she tries to warn Dewey and Gale, but it's too late. Eventually, Parker Posey, she gets killed by Ghostface. And the whole who was it? Died though. Well, Patrick Dempsey, he doesn't die. Because I liked his character. He gets knocked out. Oh, and although I do like, before he gets knocked out, I did like he did have a little bit of a fight. He did put up a fight against Ghostface. He kind of like headbutts Ghostface. So at least he was getting some stuff to do. At least he did put up a bit of a fight. But eventually he gets knocked out. Doesn't get stabbed though, but he gets knocked out. And the whole big reveal is that, which people don't like. I like the reveal. It's much better reveal than the killers in Scream 2, or the sequels, or 4, 5, and 6. The fact that Scott Foley, the director of the next Stab films, it turns out he's actually Sidney's brother from his mom, because they mentioned like how they showed a footage of back when Sidney's mom, from back then when she was acting right, and I think what I linked another. I think it was due to she was raped, or I forget though. But since she left him, she wanted revenge. But so the whole plot reveal, because we give him the clues that we were leading to. Okay, I'm trying to put this puzzle together, right? Okay, and I like the reveal that turns out it was actually her. Well, you can say half brother though, but still brother is a brother, right? And then he has Lance Henriksen tied up, right, and he slits his throat. And I like the fight. It was a much better fight than the finale in Scream 2 on the theater stage. They're bashing each other in the heads with stuff, and she shoots him because Dewey earlier shot him though, but he has a bulletproof vest on, and then he gets stabbed in the neck with an ice pick, but he shoots Sidney, but she played smart though. She also wore a bulletproof vest, and Dewey, finally gets the final shot of the killer. I'm like, yes, Dewey finally gets to do something, Yeah, he shot at the killer earlier though, but at least he got the finishing kill shot. So yeah, I thought it was much better with the killer reveal and the motivations and the finale settings, much better than Scream 2. That's just me though, and it's a lot better than the later sequels. So afterwards, they're all gonna watch a movie together, including Patrick Dempsey because he has popcorn too. And Sydney's back door, the wind blows it open, but she just leaves it open, walks away. So it's and also that Dewey proposes to Gale. That was nice. Which that was screwed up because of Scream 5, where Dewey's now living in a shit trailer house and he's separated because later on during the time of during the making of Scream 4, that was during a time when David Arquette and Courteney Cox they separated in real life. I get the play on that because they played on that in real life though. Leading up in Scream 5, I get that though, but still I didn't like what they did with them, especially with David Arquette. Piss on that film. But it was a happy ending for them in this film, which I prefer better. So yeah, I prefer that with a much better cast. I liked better cast, better setting, fight, and the killer reveal. Yeah, it was kind of like unrealistic with the whole thing with a voice changer, but nice idea. But really, is that the real thing? I thought the kills were better, especially with the character Tom Prince played by Matt Kiesler. I thought it was one of the best kills of the series. Him getting blown up in the house and the whole house explodes, a nice fiery explosion. The whole some of the chase with Sydney running through the replica prop set of her house, and the killer it was actually just trying to track Sydney down how I said was trying to get information out of Tom. What was I Tom Cotton? I forgot I was saying. I actually forgot to saying the senator's name, Tom Cotton. But Cotton Weary get information, and before he kills Liev Schreiber, and the whole thing, the idea with her living in isolation, which I don't blame her, but eventually she won't. She eventually lets people in at the end, And Patrick Dempsey, I like. At least he got. At least I'm glad he got he put up a bit of a fight against Ghostface. And he lives as a positive for me. It was cool to see the cameos, like I mentioned, Jay and Silent Bob, Carrie Fisher, Roger Corman. Nice to see Lance Henriksen in this. I think Wes Craven did a much better job than he did with Scream 2. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love The People Under the Stairs. Shocker, I love. The Serpent and the Rainbow. I like the first Scream. I like this Scream 3. Scream 2, like I said, was lackluster. Sadly, the last one we did was Scream 4 before he passed away, and that was shit, sadly. My Soda Take, I don't like at all. I like Red Eye. It was a good thriller with Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. That was a good thriller. But I wasn't really... I never was a fan of his first two films, like the original Last House on the Left or the original The Hills Have Eyes. I just prefer those remakes better, in my opinion. House on the Hills Have Eyes 2 from the 80s, the sequel to the original, was not big on either. But I think he did a better job with Scream 3 than Scream 2. To me, I think this is an underrated sequel, the most underrated of this series. I never understood the hate for this film. I don't. I think that David Arquette and Courteney Cox, they're given more to do. Much better supporting cast, like Jenny McCarthy, Parker Posey, Deion Richmond, Patrick Warburton, Lance Henriksen, Scott Foley, Patrick Dempsey. Much better supporting cast. Better score by Marco Beltrami. Much better ideas and different settings and kills. Dewey gets more to do, same way like I said with Gale. And it was a happy ending, until Scream 4 ruined that. But I think this is an underrated sequel. And the most underrated of this franchise, I never understood the hate for Scream 3. I think it's better than Scream 2 and much better than 4, 5, and 6. So, yeah, but I enjoy it. Better dialogue, better sense of humor, because they kind of try to do more in humor, because there was a time they kind of try to ease up on the violence, because there was a time during the Columbine high school massacre at the time, so they kind of eased up on the violence on this, more comedy. But I think the violence were still there. I mean, Lance Henriksen gets his throat slit, Matt Keeler gets blown up, and Patrick Warburton gets much better thrown out than Sarah Michelle Gellar did. It was much better kills in this one. So yeah, but that's my review on Scream 3. I think I said underrated of the franchise. So yeah, this is the only two good ones is the first Scream film and then Scream 3. In my opinion, if you like Scream 2, that's fine, or the rest of the sequels, in your opinion though. But I think Scream 1 and 3 are the best ones. So I never stood the hate for this film. And Wes Craven, rest in peace. I thought he did a much better job in Scream 2. Or 4. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more for the rest of this franchise and during Halloween month. And we'll see you next time. Later.